Number one, Jamaica is not an African nation. It's not a black country. We identify as an ethnically diverse society. People, please just stop it. Out of many, one people, Jamaicans. We do not hyphenate and we do not encourage separation by race.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Well, as you see, roughly, I would say like about a year ago, Lorna Chin, she is a Jamaican content creator. She's a very creative person, excellent on Instagram, and she went viral roughly about a year ago for saying some things that people would say was like very controversial. You know, however, like the point of this video is not to talk about the controversy, but I would like to highlight 2 points taken from that viral clip about a year ago. And I would like to talk about the importance of Jamaicans in Jamaica and Jamaicans within the diaspora. Because for the past maybe 30 or more years, there seemed to be some type of controversy or some type of pushback between Jamaicans in Jamaica and Jamaicans in the diaspora. So I'm going to take a look at this video and I'm going to make my point right after this.
My fellow Jamaicans, me come for drink milk, but be there cocoa. It is abundantly clear to me that there are people who live foreign and identify as Jamaicans, but you don't have one of these. And while you're entitled to your opinion, one is a set a rascal does. So let me set the record straight. Number one, Jamaica is not an African nation. It's not a black country. We identify as an ethnically diverse society. People, please just stop it. Out of many, one people, Jamaicans. We do not hyphenate and we do not encourage separation by race. Number two, this one's mine. This is my granny one. This one is my mom's. And this is grandpa. Yeah, it's hardcover. Grandpa died a long time ago. If you are planning a trip to Jamaica and you don't own one of these, you're going to have to book a return flight from where you came. These are the rules. I'm just laying it down for you. If you go to Jamaica and you don't have one of these, immigration will stamp your passport and give you a set amount of time that you're allowed to stay in Jamaica. And if you overstay your welcome, we put you back on a plane and we send you back. You, not me, you back to the country for which you came.
So as I said, I am a fan of Lorna Chin. I've been watching her for the past 2 to 3 years on Instagram. And I would say about 90 or so percent of what she said, 95% of what she said, it's accurate. Like, you know, I am a big fan of history, in particular Caribbean history, Jamaican history. So most of what she said, you know, I would say a 95% is accurate. Jamaica has a very rich history coming out of slavery and the history, you know, out of many one people in terms of the indentured laborers from India, from China, from Germany, the German settlement in Jamaica. The history is so rich. But one of the things that she got wrong, the first point that I wanted to make is when she said that Jamaica is not a black country, Jamaica is not an African country. Obviously, Jamaica is not an African country, Jamaica is in the Caribbean, but Jamaica is indeed a black country. If Jamaica doesn't qualify as being a black nation, what does? Which country does? Jamaica has the second highest black population outside of Africa. The percentage of the population in Jamaica is the second highest outside of Africa. Number one, obviously, Haiti. Haiti, black population or African population in Haiti is 95.1%, I think. And Jamaica is 92%. So I would say, you know, 92% of any one type of people would qualify you as such. So 95% of blacks living in one country would automatically qualify you as a black nation. You know, I live in Toronto, Canada. I think the percentage of like white people or people of European descent in Canada, I think it's about 70 or so percent, and Canada is a white country. You know, the same with America. We consider, like, based on what the population is today, like they are the majority. I know, and another thing, like, that Jamaica doesn't necessarily hyphenate when it comes to that. Like, living in Jamaica, a regular everyday Jamaican does not hyphenate. But one thing I learned living outside of Jamaica is that, you know, wherever you go, whether it's in Canada, wherever it's in England or the US, if you come across any Jamaican that is not black and they have a thick Jamaican accent, the hyphen is going to be right there. They're going to say a Chinese Jamaican. You're like, oh my gosh, you're Chinese Jamaican. Or you're white Jamaican, you know, we know white yardie. You know, so it is there. And funny story, because when I used to live in Bermuda years ago, and I remember one of my coworkers came to me like shocked, like almost like she saw like a ghost. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, oh, James, you need to come here. So I walked over with her. There's this Chinese guy, a doctor that lived in Bermuda. And like most foreigners, or, you know, people from America, Canada, or whatever, whenever they see a black person, they automatically think that that person is Jamaican. So this guy, you know, Chinese Jamaican, saw her, thought that she was Jamaican, and he was like, yo, wagwan, like, where do you at? And she was just, because she's never seen that before, like the patois, the deep patois accent coming out of a Chinese person's mouth. So it is a real thing. So that is just one of the things that I wanted to correct, because this, you know, Lorna does a lot of educational video, and I believe that, you know, knowing Jamaica history, you have to know that Jamaica qualifies as a black country. It's out there, it's obvious to everyone that, you know, over 90% of Jamaicans are from African descent, so that would automatically qualify as a black nation. And the second point, okay, so the second point, so this is obvious to any Jamaican living in the diaspora, and I'm surprised that she would have said something like this, because she lives in Miami. Any Jamaican, there's arguably more Jamaicans living outside of Jamaica than live inside of Jamaica, and I do not know a Jamaican living in the US, living in Canada, living in the UK without a Jamaican passport. Jamaicans, even when they attain a Canadian passport, a US passport, a British passport, it's like a birthright to say, like, I'm not giving up my Jamaican passport. So that piece where she was saying that, like, if some people identify Jamaican, or they're black, or they come to Jamaica and they don't have one of these passports, and immigration is going to say that you have this amount of time to stay, and that part I don't agree with, because, as I said, I don't know any Jamaican living outside of Jamaica who was born in Jamaica without a Jamaican passport. And I would even go as far as saying that a lot of Jamaicans, because Jamaicans are very proud people, so Jamaicans, we take our culture everywhere that we go, and even Jamaicans that are, I know Jamaicans that are, like myself, I'm married to my wife is from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I know that Jamaicans are married to Trini, I know Jamaicans are married to Bajan, and still they have multiple passports. You know, so like in Canada, you don't even have to go to Jamaica for your child that was born in Canada to get a Jamaican passport. All you have to do is just to go to the Jamaican consulate, and they have their passport in less than a month. So, and I'm happy that came up, because it's been something that's been argued in the Jamaican community for a long time now, about the importance of Jamaicans in the diaspora and Jamaicans in Jamaica, And you know, like I've heard over the years, like Jamaicans in Jamaica saying that, like, you know, if you don't live here, you don't have a saying, you know, just come and enjoy your vacation and go back and shut up. We don't need your input in politics, we don't need your input in this, we don't need your input in that. And so it's vice versa. I feel like there's been a lack of respect for Jamaicans in the diaspora, and then I'll go as far as saying a lot of Jamaicans in the diaspora, there's a lack of respect for Jamaicans within Jamaica. But I believe that Jamaicans in Jamaica, very important, keeping the culture, you know, waving the flag, and making sure that Jamaica continue to be this rich country that contributes to culture right across the world. And also, I'll go as far as saying Jamaicans in the diaspora, I believe that, my personal belief is that without Jamaicans in the diaspora, I believe that Jamaica would become a failed state. And I'm going to explain to you why I say that. Okay, so let me give you some numbers why I personally believe that without Jamaicans in the diaspora, that Jamaica would pretty much be like a failed state. Tourism is Jamaica's biggest, it's number one employer. Tourism employs hundreds of thousands of Jamaicans every year. And I'm going to give you some number. In 2022, the tourism industry brought in $4.4 billion to the economy. That's far more than any other sector in Jamaica, whether it's you know, service sector in terms of telemarketing or any other small businesses in Jamaica, any other sector, farming, whether it's production, any other sector in Jamaica, tourism brought in way more as one sector, $4.4 billion. So just keep that number with you. Then the second biggest in terms of remittance, that was like remittance coming to Jamaica through the whole tourism industry, like from people coming as visitors, from booking flights, from booking their packages, all-inclusive packages or whatever, from, you know, the three countries that most of Jamaica's tourists are coming from, like Canada, England, and the US. The second biggest was remittance. Remittance in 2022 brought in $3.5 billion to the Jamaica economy. And why are those numbers important? The Jamaica have been operating for the past 30 years in terms of import, export, had a huge deficit. Like the deficit that the difference between import and export, no country could survive on that difference in deficit. So let me give you an example. The same 2022, Jamaica imported products through the USA, or because the US dollar is the dollar that most countries in the world use to do their business. You can't operate successfully without US dollars. So Jamaica spent $7.5 billion in 2022 to export stuff to Jamaica, things that we need. We need car, we need, there are certain food items that we need, like even though Jamaica is exporting stuff that should not be exporting, Jamaica is importing, things that should not be imported. Jamaica importing onions, they're importing like ground provisions, like chicken, like now I see like we're accepting goat from America, like I'm not sure what's going on. But $7.5 billion, that's what we spend in terms of our import. Our export with Jamaicans product leaving Jamaica was only 1.9 billion, I think. That's a difference in over $5.4 billion. That would be a deficit. If not for remittance, that $3.5 billion that came in because of remittance, and that tourism dollar that came in at $4.4 billion. However, the difference between those two, and I believe over 2020, 2021, the remittance eclipsed the tourism dollar because of the kind of downward trajectory of the tourism industry because of a pandemic. So Jamaica pretty much survived 2 years on remittance because the tourism industry it completely fell off from what they used to make. Why is this important? This is important because when you look at that figure, that $4.4 billion, that's money that's coming into the economy to provide jobs, to provide services to the country, and that is coming from one tourism product. The remittance is, I would say, free money. When the $4.4 billion comes in, that's people in the tourism industry, people in farming, working, and government collecting taxes and stuff from that money. The $3.5 billion, that's money that was already worked for, that's money that was already taxed in America, Canada, and England. That money is coming straight to Jamaica, straight to loved ones, and straight to investment. Jamaicans like investing in properties and stuff like that. So, I believe that, we have to have this conversation as Jamaicans at home and Jamaicans abroad, that we are important to each other. Like, it takes Jamaicans on the ground for Jamaica to stay strong. It also takes Jamaicans in the diaspora for Jamaica to stay strong. So, as I said, like, I'm happy that this conversation came up. It's unfortunate that, because what I would say is that I understand where she's coming from, because you go in the comment section and you see the bullies, but, social media is not a real place. Like, people get bullied all the time. Like, living outside of Jamaica and me telling someone that I'm Jamaican, they're like, no, you're not Jamaican. And I'm like, why am I not Jamaican? You don't smoke weed, you're not Jamaican. You're not a Rastafari, you're not Jamaican. You don't have 10 baby mothers, you're not Jamaican. So that is what Jamaicans in the diaspora have to deal with, the stereotypical ideology that they have of us. And you just have to take it on the cheek with a smile, because when someone don't know, they just don't know. So I honestly believe that, I don't know the percentage of comment in the comment section to Lorna Chin that was negative, but I know that I've gone in the comment section and I've seen a lot of positive. And one thing, as I said earlier, like, people in Canada, because I live in Canada, people in Canada, when they see like a Jamaican Chinese, it's like the most fascinating thing, because they're like, I see like a person that like of Chinese descent, but I did not expect that to come out of their mouth. I did not expect patois. When you see like a black person in Toronto, that's not shocking. Sometimes, people don't believe that I'm Jamaican a lot of times too, because if I'm not speaking patois, they don't believe. Like, I ask, people where they think I'm from. They think everywhere else except Jamaica. They're like, oh, are you from Dominican Republic? Are you from Brazil? Are you from, and like 5-6 guests before Jamaica even entered the argument. So guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think that, we are right to say, do you think that Jamaica being 92% of blacks, African descent, qualify Jamaica as a black nation, or do you think Jamaica is just out of many one people, even though the 8% is a makeup of people from the East Indian, people from China, people from Europe? What do you think? And do you agree with me when I say that both Jamaicans at home and abroad are important to the success of Jamaica? And I believe that we need to get to a point where Jamaicans, even in the diaspora, can contribute to the political climate in Jamaica absentee vote, which a lot of other countries allow that to happen. If they can have a system where that system is regulated and they know that it's a system that's not you can't mess around with. So that's just my opinion. So let me know what you think in the comment section, and please remember to like, share and subscribe, and follow me for more amazing content. Peace. I'm out.